Hey guys. Hey Peter, Mark, Stuart, g'day. And Bill's gone. Oh, Bill's there. I thought Bill was going to bed. Getting 2 live streams in a row is a bit harsh on Bill. Poor guy. Hope he's all right. Hope he pull up okay tomorrow. James is up early. Dan's here. He's up late. Chirp's here too. He's up early or he's up late or something. Now, what's our audio like? Is our audio terrible? Sounds good. Okay, we're working on that. I think we've got that sorted though. That's excellent. We haven't fixed this yet, but we're working on it. You just have to put up with that. That probably helps. Is that helpful? Bill's had a few. No, I didn't. No, I didn't, James. I didn't say it yet. Anyway, that's sorted. I think we've got audio. It's not helpful, apparently. Is your wagon still present? Not here on the bench. It's actually in the other room. So there's probably some sketching and so forth going on with that. If it rains this next weekend, it's probably going to get a bit more done. Anyway. I'm about stuffed, to be honest. If we're going to go there, I'm pretty well. Sort of pretty much had enough today. There's a lot happening. A lot going down. It's all going down. Let me hear about my weekend. Right. It's raining at the moment. I don't know if anyone noticed, but it's absolutely bucketing down. One of Dan's ducks thinks he's a magpie. I think that's about sums up the situation. So what do I do? Bit on this. I don't know if it's anywhere near where I want it yet, but it's getting there. I'm getting a bit done. In between thunderstorms, I've got a bit done on this. I'd like to get it finished this next weekend. I reckon another weekend will make a difference in it and get it up to this standard, which is the other one. Tea and biscuits, g'day. Yeah, to say in the least, Dan's chickens are, well, ducks anyway, are probably a mixed lot. It's a hard job and the pay is not much. Pulled this box apart. This is pretty ugly, actually. It's got plywood on the front. This teal has been screwed on with tech screws at some point, and they're not so distant fast. And it's not much of a job. I reckon we could make a better job because it's a pretty useful feature to have. But I might pull it off and clean underneath it and varnish under it and put some decent screws in it rather than these are a bit ugly. There's not two the same for a start. And none of them are in straight, and that one's been busted off and put in again because there's an extra hole. This is reasonably well stuck together, this lid, so that's good. This bit here I don't know if that helps or not. What we did discover is that we've got a light. I don't know if that helps. No, it doesn't. The light doesn't help. Okay. The ducks are moving in the shed. Yeah, we better fix that. So, pulled the hardware off this, and this has still got a bit of plywood stuck to it. But I think this is actually, I pulled all the nails out. We've still got a piece, one veneer stuck to this outside of this, I think on both ends. That could clean up. Not real well stuck together here. So whether I pry that apart and glue it and put it back together properly with the front back on, it might be nice. Don't know. I've got some thoughts about finishing it. Yeah, where patina meets, that looks like shit. Yeah, that's what it is. This is pretty worn down on the edges. I don't know, might get some love anyway. So, pulled the hardware off it. And as I was going up to Petrie this last Tuesday, I sandblasted all these. How cool is that? Get access to a sandblast cabinet. So sandblasted and painted them all. They're probably going to end up with some Japan black or something on them, I think. So that's done. They probably could do with some more paint too. I think I missed a bit. Yeah, maybe scrape it back, but it is a bit of a, just a bit of a mess. I'm not sure if we're going to stop at varnish or whether we're going to refinish it properly. We'll see. We'll see where that leads us. I'm not sure I'm really in love with the rustic look on it. It's good, and a coat of varnish might just do it. And that might be all it gets, but we'll have a look. We'll see. Crescent wrench on the floor, yeah, and a snap-on screwdriver, you see. So that cancels that one out. It's a Barco spanner. It makes me feel like Keith News, yeah, like a certain YouTuber. And a snap-on spanner, which makes me feel like an imposter. The snap-on screwdriver, that makes me feel like an imposter. Anyway. Don't know, might scrape it back. We'll see what happens. See how it looks. I'll give it a bit more of a clean up. It was a very superfluous sort of a pull down on Monday. Pulled all the bits apart. See how bad it actually is, and we'll put it back together. Pulled the tills out. They're pretty good. There's the other piece of plywood over there in the corner. That needs replacing. That's terrible. This place is looking a bit lived in at the moment. So these have come up pretty nice actually, and I think with a coat of black on them they'll look really good. Missing the rest of the corners and bits and pieces off my other box. I don't know where it went, and it's a bit of a mystery. I don't know where they went. They're put away in a box somewhere, and I've got no idea where. They will, I guess, turn up, but they haven't as yet. So still looking, living in hope. While I was at it, sandblasted this up. No, it's got a coat of undercoat on it. I don't know if this undercoat's any good or not. I'm going to have a think about it, let it dry properly, and then see what's happening. It should be on the controls of the lathe, yeah. The extension cord on the floor is over here because the vacuum cleaner's plugged in. That's what that is. So pump's looking all right. There's a few jobs to do. Had a bit of a think about what needs to be done. I don't think I'm going to cut any new flanges for it at this point. This square one that looks ugly on this side, the flange on the pipe, just a bit of flat with a hole tapped in it. What I'm going to do is draw around it with a texture and cut it to shape on the front. I think that'll be good enough. Leave the back. Probably cut the corners off if we really wanted to, but we could do it in place, I think. So that's the job for that. Don't think Mark's pump. I think this surface here bolts straight to the pump on Mark's. Got to make another one of these. Which is a retainer. Actually goes in the side of the valve seat in that hole. It's got a pin. Should fit in there. So they're going to make them some point soon. Apart from that, it needs a coat of red paint, and it's looking all right. But it's not triangle shape, so yeah. Mark's is different, it's triangle shaped. I don't know why he did that, but most rollers and engines have this particular pump on them. It's fitted in different places. I have this elbow too, which sort of got a bit of sandblasting before I got sick of it, or had called away for other jobs. It might get finished off at some point. But this is the right angle bracket for it. Goes on. I think it goes on there like that. And this goes to the pump. So that needs cleaning up too. That's cast iron, but that'll happen. Got sidetracked doing castings. But there we go. So pump's starting to look all right. That's another job we've done. This is the Craig reference. Apparently the shelf is on the floor, but I don't believe that for a minute. This is a replacement casting for the whistle. There was a whistle video. I guess everyone's seen that. Probably you didn't hear it because it was terrible. This is straight out of the mould, and this is the pattern we ended up with to do this. It's got a core in it. Problem with this pattern is that there's too many straight sides, see? So breaking it out without getting it out of the pattern without, or out of the mould without sand breakout, almost impossible. Too many sharp corners and straight edges. So we've got a bit of sand breakout here. You can see that. And through here. Main shape through here is pretty good. Bit of sand breakout around here too. It'll clean up pretty easy. And you're going to grip it in the, probably in the forge or this way, and set it up. Machine it and bore it. And then hold it on there and machine and bore this end. And then we can start messing around with the valve and stuff. Could do lost foam casting. It's a bit of messing around, to be honest. It sounds good on paper. This is not a big deal to actually do this one. And if I'd had another go at making a pattern, we might have got something that's pretty good. And I might still make one before I hand them over to Mark, because this one's a bit of a challenge to build. I think it could be a lot better. So the core's turned out all right. It's got a pretty decent bore in there. It's nice and central. So just a matter of machining that up. These might have got another coat of paint tonight, but honestly it's raining too much out there to do anything. It's bucketing down. So I guess you all saw the video, so you've all seen this. Cuts into my live stream content. Making a separate video on it. need to make this in brass. This is the reed plate, and this is the actual steam gap around here, which is about half actually what that is. That's about 1/16th, I reckon, if we look at it. Probably 1.6, 1/16th of an inch. I think it only wants to be about 1/16th of an inch smaller than this diameter. So it's only 30-second gap, which is half that. So there's not a lot of steam escape. I'm not going to use a whole lot of steam. So this is looking pretty good. I guess you've probably seen that, but it is looking really nice. I'll show that off again. It's a bit of a different colour in the braze, but nothing serious. I don't think that'll worry it. Yeah, absolutely cast it oversized. I'm not going to cast it off this one, Chirp. I'll make another pattern because this has got the machine marks and everything. You know, I just wanted to see how it worked and sort of proof of concept to make sure everything was going to fit together because I'm not entirely trusting of the Northern Pacific Railway drawings. I think that there's some errors in them too. Am I still here? I think I'm still here. Yeah. So just want to make sure that this all sort of fits and it's about the right size. So I'll cast one of these, but I'll leave enough body in here to bore it out to fit that boss, and the hole for to go over the stud, and enough on here so that we can machine it down nice and concentric, and enough on here so we can face the lot off. Yeah, that's probably Chirp. That's what I probably should have done, but he's put a bit of silicone in this as well, which probably makes it easier for the welder too. But I reckon it's not bad. I really don't think that's a bad job at all. Pretty happy with it. So this wasn't flat. When we welded this tripod spider thing in here, before we welded this on, this pulled and it was this shape quite considerably. So when you sat, basically when you sat that in place, it was sitting over like that because it's sitting up here on this edge. Brendan, g'day. Hey, stranger. So I was sort of half concerned about that. I was hoping it would sort of pull out, but when we've welded it up, I don't know if you can see that, but that's dead flat through there. So pretty nice. So the latest casting's a valve. The next video will feature drawings for this because I think you're all sort of imagining this, and I'm pretending that there isn't a drawing, but there is actually a drawing. This is bored nice. It's bored 1 5/8 inch, I think. All the way through, nice and neat. And this is just a flat surface to fit back on here, and it's got a slot in here with a pin for the handle. This end has a 2-inch BSP or whatever thread on here, and then it's got a 45-degree taper seat in there for the valve. There we go. So that's what the valve looks like, right? It's got a gap around it. Awesome, Brendan. Keep us posted on that. We'll keep an eye out for it. So this has got basically it's got a spool which goes down the hole. with a seat on it for the valve and a square on the bottom for lacking it, and a slot in it for the lever. So that's how that works. That sits inside there. I'll hold it that way. Sits inside there with a seat on it. And when you pull the lever, it drops it back down against the steam pressure. So there's no spring or anything. And lets the steam through the valve into the whistle. So that's why I've done this again, is because this really didn't clean up enough for the valve seat and to put a thread on the outside. So that's what the valve looks like. That's a fun job, bit of a project, fun job on its own. So that's where we're at with that. That's another thing that we did on Tuesday. I'm not sure if this casting's any good. I've got to clean it up and see. Hopefully it cleans up here nice. There's enough metal to clean up without that corner, which appears to be missing there. This one's nice and square on this side. This one looks like it's a bit missing, but it probably doesn't matter because it's going to be welded there anyway. I don't think it's a big deal if it is a bit under there. I think that'll clean up. So that's whistle progress. Pretty happy with it so far. There's still a lot of bits to make. This goes on here, and then the bell is sort of this diameter, because, you know, we've got a very sort of an over-exaggerated sense of our ability, and we think that we can cast this tall. Sort of, there's a foot ruler, I think it's about that tall, and have a decent sort of casting. If we can't, like, we'll attempt it. If it's a bridge too far, why is there such a large void? Good question. It's a hole. No real reason, but that's what the drawing was. The bit that makes the noise is on here, really. This is the only difference. This could have been quite a lot lower, but don't know. That's just the shape of it. It might have been quite a lot easier if it had been lower and a bit shallower, but I don't think so. This has come together pretty well, and that's how it is. Don't ask questions. That's what the drawing looks like. If we can't cast this, and it could be a bridge too far, because there's some fins down the bottom. This sits up about this tall, and then somewhere there, and then this extrusion comes up to about here, and one of these is blocked off then, and then it comes up to about here, and then another one's blocked off, and then a bit higher and a bit higher, till you get to about there somewhere. I think the overall height's about 250, 300, 280, something like that. So it's fairly big. So that's quite a casting. Now, pouring the metal's easy. Getting the metal to run down a 5 mil runner like that for a distance of 250 mil is not quite as easy. But the big problem with this is that by the time you get it in a box full of sand, it's pretty heavy, especially after you pour a couple of 3 kilos of brass in it. So, not sure about that. Worst case scenario, is we'll fabricate it up out of steel. And that could quite easily be something we could do, tick it up and be all right. If we got an outside piece and cut grooves in it, and then got these inner pieces to slot in with a slot up the side of the groove, so that they all sat in there in the right places, and then put tops in them, and cut the top off in the right spot. Here's a model we made earlier. This one's 60%. But if we made these fins and slotted them in against the steel pipe, and then put tops in them, and a piece of tube in the middle, that might be okay. But we might have a go at casting it first. Mark's got one on the bench there, and he sent me some pictures. The way that's cast is it's welded in two pieces around here. It's got a seam through here. And what that does is it eliminates the inner core. So we don't need a core in the middle there. Because even if you lost foam cast it, you still need a core, because you can't pack sand into this if it's closed on each end, like so. This distance, this diameter here, I think is about an inch, something like that, 7, 8. And this is sort of that big. So you're going to need a core no matter what. If you cast it in 2 bits and weld it through there, around there, then this piece here is open on both ends. It's open on this end, on the bottom, and this one's open on the top. So each piece is open on one end, so you should be able to cast it okay with just a blind core. I think we'll either make separate cores, or Chirpy said make it all in one core with the 6 divisions, so 6 pieces, so 5 around the outside and 1 up the middle, and make a base with a bit of a taper in it that it sits in nicely, the core sits in, and then ram this pattern, if we make a wooden pattern, into the sand in the top part and tip it over the top, and then probably pour, honestly, I'm guessing we pour through the top, but anyway, that's a little way down the track. This is just all thinking out loud, so sorry to stick all that on you, but that's what I'm thinking. We could probably fabricate it anyway. But we'll get all the bottom half done, we'll get that done, the lever done, and the valve and all that good stuff, and get a bottom half functioning and get a bolt in the middle of it before we even think about this. This stud's pretty solid. 1 1/8 inch. I think the top one is 3/4. So, and it's, I can tell you exactly how high it is. That's 175. So 17 times 4 is, come on, help me out. 10 4s are 40, 4 7s are 28, 68 mil more than 775 is 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 245, something like that, 240, 248, something like that high. So, hey Randy. So, that's where we're going with that. I think it's a mugs game. I really think, I hope it. It's supposed to be warmer tomorrow. It's supposed to be back to 31 degrees. It's really nice, is the weather report. So, that's where we're at. That's all that's happened. What else did I do on the weekend? Not very much. The National Rally is after Glenray next year. So July, August is looking like it's going to be a bit crazy. Just looking at all the registration forms and accommodation booking forms and stuff for that this week. And that sort of nearly gave me a meltdown actually this week. To be honest, it really hit pretty hard, but it's it seems a bit more doable now. We'll see how we go with that. I think third week in August. If anyone wants to attend the National Rally, get in now and tell me you're coming, and I'll get you on my crew on the application. But you need to tell me this week. There you go. Pretty safe, aren't I? Gosh. Got paint here everywhere. Boxes of paint. So it's all been happening. If you see a copy of this book, it's well worth picking up. This is Lost Technology series by Lindsay Publications. I think it's out of print. I'm sure it's out of print. Bill's just said that he's off the register. If anyone wants to interpret that any other way, I think it's a pretty accurate statement though. Bill's off the register. This is a very good book anyway. Well worth a look. It's somewhat illustrated. It's got actual photographs, but it's old enough to be discusses the history and Dr. Schwarzkopf's method and a method in vogue in Belgium. Embalming's but little practiced in England. Up to date embalming anyway. A few pictures of good healthy looking cadavers and entry and exit wounds, that sort of stuff. See, he looks healthy. There's a lot about medical complaints like consumption and syphilis, and it says that there are more failures made by embalming cases of consumption perhaps than in embalming bodies dead than embalming bodies dead of any other disease known to the profession. This may partially be accounted for the fact that more people die of the disease than any other two diseases that affect humanity. According to the latest investigations, about 1/7 of all the deaths in some countries in Europe are caused by consumption. A great many of these failures met with in treating bodies of the dead of this disease are traceable in the fact that the larger portion of embalmers do not understand the morbid condition of the body. There you go. So it's all there. This is probably more sort of applicable. There's actually a bit about that, Dan, enlargement of the liver and spleen and what you need to do about that, and syphilis. So these pages pretty well, basically that's Dan, probably others as well. Jaundice, pleurisy, septicemia, cerebral softening, cerebral hemorrhage. Special cases like electric shock or lightning. Who wants to know how to embalm a body with electric shock? When death is caused suddenly by an electric current, blood is very liable to be found in the arteries. Bit tricky actually. Sunstroke, asphyxiation by gas, drown cases, cases commonly called floaters. There you go. Holds nothing back here. A mother with a child in the womb, tumours, cancers, post-mortem cases, mutilated cases, the slipping of the epidermis, injecting fluid beneath the skin, swelling of the neck, cases of throat cutting, sudden death by poisoning, apparent and real death, and whether you should actually put bells on people's toes, I guess. Signs and tests, how to tell. That's right at the back. It's a bit strange really that they put that information right at the back of this book. But there you go. Don't say we don't cover everything here. Conducting funerals and funeral etiquette. Quite a few people's thoughts on funeral etiquette and transportation rules. There's a dictionary of anatomical words and phrases. And there's an ad on the back for an oriental embalming fluid, which may or may not be made up stuff, I don't know. Maybe that was it. Nothing on earth will keep a body so well. Bit of a dead subject, yeah. But very good book. Well worth the read. Mummy wrappings and ingredients used and a bit of the history. Some of the guys, if you want to read about the guys. Mostly seen French and Italian. You'd wonder about that. Maybe some Russians in there too. Bit about the appearance after thorough embalmment. So, good book if you see her. Anyone wants to read. And it seems a bit strange that the bit about telling whether someone's dead or not is right at the back. Even past floaters. It's good weather out there for floaters, by the way. Very excellent weather for floaters. I got drenched tonight. Come home and got changed. It was that wet, but hopefully I don't wake up in the morning with a cold. William Henry, good day. You've missed the best bit, so I'll just hold that for a minute in case William Henry thinks he needs a book. Actually, it's very unlikely anyone needs that book, but I thought it was a pretty good read. It's one of the best. If they're a floater, they're definitely cactus. Yeah, probably. Wouldn't surprise me. Anyway, good book. Another one of those very excellent books that you can't live without. I've had it a while. I've read it a couple of times. I'm not sure I've missed anything, but I've probably missed all sorts of stuff. But there's always, it's very useful to open it and read a page at random, because it says the specific germ of Asiatic cholera is the Bacillus of Koch, with a K, Koch. Develops most rapidly between the temperatures of 12 and 45 degrees Celsius, and it forms spores, which in dried condition may be preserved for years. It's an acute infectious disease, particular in no country or people. The treatment of a cholera case should not differ materially from any other infectious disease. The first thing to be done is spray the room with a reliable disinfectant. When the body should be well sponged with a disinfected fluid, wrapped in a sheet saturated with good disinfectant, and immediately buried. That was easy. A lot less work in someone with cholera. Just in case you want to know that. Anyway, good book. Anyway, that's probably too much information in tonight's live stream for anyone. But there you go. That's about all I've got to show. I'm pretty tired. I'm feeling a bit burned out. I'm trying not to use the whole chronic fatigue syndrome word again. Because I'm really feeling a bit ratty today this week. Who's playing Zen music? That's Joe playing a video game in the other room. Joe's getting powering through a new video game. So hopefully it's not copyright. Meat pies. I don't know about meat pies. Horse is probably alright in meat pies, but I'm not sure about the human remains. Especially with Asiatic cholera. And spores. Particularly with spores. My phone is probably going to go flat again because I only just charged it when I got home and it was up to about 45% or something, which isn't very much. But if it does, don't bother waiting around, just log out and I'll come back and close the stream. There you go. I don't think it will, but I might call it pretty soon too. No lathe updates really. You've machined all this up. You can charge while streaming. I can't charge while streaming Tea and Biscuits because I now have an external microphone due to popular demand, and that plugs in where the charge cord plugs in. So as much as I'd like to, that's why it's a bit of an issue. It's because we've got a new microphone. Hopefully the audio is worth it. Hopefully the audio is pretty good. But we might just go, and when I get another warning to say it's getting a bit flat, I might call it. What else? Anyone else got any questions? Is the mic pointing at you? I think so. Can anyone hear me? It's a Mac thing. It's not just a Mac thing. My Android had exactly the same problem. my Android had the same problem as USB-C for both, so you can't charge it while you're using the microphone. Anyway, there was a video from Nigel saying he's finished the die filer, which I'm a bit impressed with. That's a really nice job. It all came up really well. I'm guessing everyone saw that. I believe that there was a This Old Tony video today. Tea and Biscuits has been diplomatic about the sound. I will go back and watch some of it. I'm not convinced that it's ideal, but it's probably better than it was. Maddie put one out. Better check out Maddie's video. I hope he's doing all right. I haven't seen anything from him from a while. Didn't see one from Fridge. Didn't see one from Bill. No pressure. Mark had one out. A couple of videos over the weekend. Live and 2 lives and another video, I think. Not a bad effort. Really impressed. Well done to Mark. Thanks, William. I hope it's all right. So, there's an auction this weekend up here. If anyone wants to buy a steam locomotive or so forth or so on, there is an auction in here on the Gold Coast or in Brisbane here. I believe Fridge and William and a few of them are coming up from down south. I was thinking I was going to make it. Probably best if I don't in the current economic climate and all the other stuff that I probably need to do in the next 12 months. Really don't need anything else, so I'm not going. And aiding and abetting others to buy stuff doesn't really help my cause either, because I end up fixing it too. And we've got way too many projects without other ones, so I'm just saying that. Tea and Biscuits editing videos released in December. Yes, it is hard work, that's right. I got 2 videos out on the steam whistle build, which is kind of nice. Paul, good evening. You should be very proud of me, because that's 2 videos I wasn't really intending to do. I was just going to get in and make this, but they're pretty ordinary videos. But yeah, it's an estate sale, Stuart. But this is coming together nice. And this pump needs some work too, so we're going to need to get that finished ASAP. Anyway, I might call it, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Thanks for the push to get this audio a little bit better. Feedback's much appreciated. We'll keep working on it. We could do with the Xmas Day live stream. What's Xmas Day? Is Christmas, is it? Thanks for that. Xmas Day might be a Wednesday, yeah. I've got the day off, so we'll see what happens with that. Might make a bit of an effort with it. Anyway, it'd be very nice to have this whistle up and running, but I don't believe we will, because we're only 5 weeks away from Christmas, and I've got a pretty busy 5 weeks. I'd very much like to have this box back together. I'd like to have these 2 signs finished. I'd like to have a bit more done to that one over there, which is still a blank board. I'd like to have a coat of varnish on that box, because I think it needs it. Yeah, and I'd like to have this ready, at least ready to go back together. Get those valves there done. So anyway, that's my goals before Christmas. I don't know how much of that I'm actually going to get done, but we'll see how we go with it. Keep you posted here. Thanks, guys. appreciate you tuning in. Be kind to each other, especially to me and my audio, my bad videos. And we'll see you again. I'm out.